Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Pokhara in Nepal, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and our co-host, Kastuba, is not here. I thought he was going to be here today.
No.
What happened? He said no?
He didn't get back to me.
He didn't get back to us. Okay, he's busy in England. So you get stuck with me. But it's Wednesday. It's a walk on Wednesday. And before we bring in our very, very special, cool guest, whom you will love, whom I love very dearly. First, you had any announcements today?
Yes, we have Bhakti Recovery Group meetings today at 1 and 9:30 p.m. And Michelle Berger is doing an asana class for our Patreon members tomorrow evening at 6:30 p.m. And then on Friday, there's Fun Day Friday with Yamuna Jaya, another asana class at 5:30 p.m. on Friday for Patreon members.
And if you want to be a Patreon member, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages. It helps support what we do. And then you get to go into the secret chambers of the Patreon room where you have vault loads of goodies and yoga classes, workshops, etc. And it's not like you get to go once. They're stored. So you can watch, you can, what's it called? Backwatch them.
There's a backlog of
There's a backlog of them.
So there's Ayurveda, harmonium workshops,
yoga, tons of yoga classes.
Yeah,
it's great.
A lot of classes by Kastuba on philosophy.
Yeah, sweet baby Krishnas. Come on.
Lots of sweet baby Krishnas.
Kastuba. That's all you ever talk about is Kastuba. And we're here with a big live group on our pilgrimage in Nepal. Everybody say Haribo. Haribo. This group is out of control. We are just chanting nonstop. And tomorrow we start I thought it was today, but tomorrow. Now we're in this beautiful city of Pokhara. Mara, I just found out, maybe some of you live people, did you guys know there was like an uprising in the kingdom here? Nepal was like a kingdom up until 2006, when somebody within the kingdom killed everybody in the kingdom. Someone within the kingdom walls killed like 48 people. Yeah, and no one knows who it is. We got to do. Somebody knows. At least one or two do.
There's a few people who know who it is.
And anyway, it's a little interesting story. But anyway, maybe I got to find more info on that. But I just found that out. We have a special Walk on Wednesday today. If you're unfamiliar with the show, welcome. Walk on Wednesdays, we bring a friend on or someone we think is doing cool things with their life. And we just pick their brain. And I was like, who are we going to get for Walk on Wednesday? And then I thought, my good friend, one of my favorite people in the world, my roommate whenever I come to India, my assistant whenever I come to India, and my drummer, because everybody knows I'm only as good of a harmonium player as the drummer I have, and he's the best drummer I know. So I want to please welcome Janeshwar Prabhu. So I'm going to kick Mara out. So a lot of you guys know Janeshwar because you've been to pilgrimage with me, or you've been to the go around Eco Village with me, where he always assists me and plays in kirtan. But I'm just going to know his background's pretty interesting. I just know what he does. This is a guy that speaks about 5 languages, pretty well. What are the 5 languages? Just curious here.
Hindi,
You got to speak in the mic, guy.
Hindi, English, Bengali, Marathi, Gujarati, and Maithili.
Maithili, that's your mother tongue, your village language.
Yeah.
And you probably know a little. That's what it sort of happens when you live in Mayapur too. Also, he lives in Mayapur, which is the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya. And I'm just going to go on with your bio a little. Not only is he an incredible mridanga player, he's an incredible harmonium player. He even plays the guitar, but he's also a great photographer. And he takes all these great photos. What's your Instagram account?
Mantra Prem Photography.
Mantra, is it just Mantra Prema?
No, it's Mantra Prem Photography.
Mantra Prema, Prema photography. So everybody right now, just keep listening, but just follow him on Instagram right now. Mantra Prema photography, incredible photography. And he takes photos of all of our journeys. So you think, okay, that's enough. He's got enough talent. Like we can move on with life. No, he's also an incredible artist. And if you follow, there's a great site that your artist guru. He studies this science of art called Shilpa, and Shilpa is a Vedic science. And you see how they sort of like tell me a little about Shilpa.
It's basically the particular art. It comes from Vishwakarma, the lineage from Vishwakarma, who is the demigod of architecture. So they have that particular people who are in that sampradaya. They only teach to that particular people who are in the sampradaya. But my teacher was studying under this, who was open to teaching my teacher, who was American.
Oh wow!
And that's how I got to learn from him.
We can't show you now, but what's your teacher's Instagram account? You guys can check this one out.
Yeah, his name is Dhrida Vrata.
So how do you spell that?
DRDHA, Dhrida Vrata.
DRDHA. Vrata is VRATA.
No, VRATA.
Double TA or
Yeah.
TA? I knew we got to
Double
look that
TA,
up.
yeah.
Oh, Banu Nandini just put in the board. Dhrida Vrata.
Yeah.
So and so anyway, I've seen his art. It's like incredible. It's like the art you'd see in a temple. It's how they design temples. It's like you are multi-talented. And I said, well, what was your, I'm losing my microphone. I said, well, what was your background? And do you mind just sharing this stuff, some of the stuff? It's a beautiful story because you've come so far with what you had to work with as a child. Do you want to share how you got into Bhakti? And
Sure.
Thanks, Prabhu. Please share.
Please
share. How did you get into Bhakti? Well, you were saying like where you grew up. You grew up in the slums of Mumbai.
Yeah.
Can you explain? Slums of Mumbai. That in itself that's a book. That's like Shantaram right there. Tell me what that was like growing up in the slums of Mumbai. Yeah, you come sit closer.
It was kind of scary.
Was it dangerous? Like in Brazil, children are armed with weapons. I think it's run by the mafia or something like this. It's not like violent crime, is it? Or is it?
I mean, it is dangerous. Like when it's like our parents wouldn't let us go out if it's dark. And one time my brother was also robbed.
That happens everywhere, though. You're living. I'm saying for the most part, it's like almost like a city within a city. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And your parents were devotees?
Yeah. Before I came in Bhakti, they were devotees.
Did they raise you as a devotee?
They didn't tell us like chant rounds and go to temple or anything.
Right.
But they were just showing us by example. And gradually, by Krishna's mercy, she got service in the temple, which was ISKCON Juhu, where she made garlands for Radha Ras Bihari Ji, and she would get prashadam from the temple. And then I know it was prashad for sure. That as we were taking those prashadam, it would change my consciousness. and it made me clear, like see, made my vision clear. And that's how I was like, okay, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do this and just focus in the bhakti more.
Did you ever see that movie Slumdog Millionaire? Was it like that? Was it like that?
Yeah. I mean, the part they showed the slum dogs. And
Yeah.
it's like that.
Were you like one of those hustler kids, like selling newspapers again? And
Yeah.
okay,
I did sell newspapers. I mean, not to make money, but like I remember my elder brother, in summer vacation, he would work in like a medical shop and stuff. And my mom was saying, "Oh, look how intelligent he is," and like, and then I was like, "Oh, I want to be intelligent kid too." And then I was
all right. So you were sort of like a little hustler kid, and you weren't following principles, like you said.
I mean, I used to eat meat, and we didn't go parties so much. I wasn't into parties so much.
And then when did you have a spiritual awakening? How old were you at that point?
Around 13.
13.
12, 13. Yeah.
From the prasad you were eating.
Yeah.
And then what did that make you do? Like what does that translate for a 13-year-old?
I remember clearly, like I was, as I was eating, I had like a bitter taste in my mouth, and I was disgusted myself. And I was like, what am I doing? And why am I doing all these things? And I just, right after that, I was just like, I told my mom that I wanna put on Tulsi Mala. And I want to take Vaishnav, and like I want to be.
And what did your mother say about the Tulsi Mala? Once you put them on,
she was kind of shocked and happy at the same time, because she didn't force me to become devotee or anything. So I said that I'm gonna do this, and she said, okay, well, you as our culture is we are from Brahmin family and stuff. So she was like, well, once you become devotee, that you cannot go back and change your mind on this, and you have to chant 16 rounds. So I started from 16 rounds. I had no, she didn't tell me like, okay, why? I didn't know. And she was just,
I think things like this are previous birth things. You get born in this family. Your father was initiated in the Gaudiya Math, which is Prabhupada's guru's ashram or church or institution.
And he only saw his Guru Maharaj 2 times in his life.
His guru.
Yeah. Once he saw him in a class, and he heard, and he got enlightened. And then next time he got initiated, and that's all. After that, he never met him.
Wow.
But
now you're 13. And when do you decide to quit school? So you drop out of school.
Yeah.
You stop going to school. And instead of going to school, he just packs his bag and just goes to the temple all day. Yeah. And what do you do at the temple? You're in the 24-hour kirtan with those guys?
I mean, there was no 24-hour kirtan in Bombay, but I used to participate in kirtan, play drum there. And they used to hate me. They were like, you don't know how to play, just get away. And I mean, it was inspiring. It was like, I took it as a challenge that I can't play this. I should learn this. And, but I was under a youth preacher, and I would just hang out all day with him, and we used to read books and chant, and I would just stay in the temple, do temple services.
I mean, I remember being a brahmachari when they're sort of like, it is fun. Actually, it's fun to hang out in the temple all day. Yeah. You can just hang out there, you read, it's time to eat, you help serve out, you clean up a little. It's actually fun, especially when you're 13 or 14.
And I was actually very blessed, because I used to get, because it was one of the main temples, to serve them without knowing. I didn't know who Guru was. And I also met my Guru Maharaj like that.
Your guru is Giriraj Swami, right? Who was one of the main persons that went through he wrote this book about how they built the Bombay temple, and it is like the massive soap opera. Yeah. What's the name of that book? Build Me a Temple. Right? Build Me a Temple. An incredible soul too. Yeah. One of the earlier sannyasi. Sannyasi means like you give up everything, and generally you do it at the end of your life. Your kids are grown up. Your kids are, you and your wife are elderly. But Giriraj Swami, your guru, all over the world. And he wasn't just like, well, I'm a loser, I have nothing to do. He was from a very, very wealthy family. Somebody told me his father, correct me if I'm wrong, his father offered him $1 million if he would just get married. If he would just not quit Bhakti, just get married. And he was like, no, sorry, I'm on a mission.
I think he gave Prabhupada also an empty check. I think to Prabhupada, he gave empty check also.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And he's a special soul, and he's super sweet and super humble.
Yeah. And
okay, so now he checks himself into the Mayapur Gurukul. Now, a Gurukul is where it's a Vedic school, an ancient Vedic school. It's how schools were. There were thousands and thousands all over India since before recorded time. There, you send your male child, to a boarding school, and they get trained in all Vedic arts, how to do pujas and mantras, and it's like living in an ashram from childhood. And you checked in at what age? How old were
16.
you? At age 16.
Yeah.
Okay, so you did finish your education, so to speak, or what did you? Because I will say, this guy knows a little bit about everything. He's always got to do it.
I mean, I didn't want to go to college and study after like 10, 12. So I was just like, I just planned if I'll fail my 10th grade, then my parents wouldn't force me to go to university. So I failed the 10th grade.
On purpose? Purpose? Oh.
And my teachers, they picked me up from the temple to give the exam. I was in the kirtan literally, and they knew that I was in the temple. So my school teachers, they came and they're like, you have to give this exam because otherwise our school name would be like, that
it makes you school look bad.
Yeah, that student scared and he didn't give the exam. So they came to the temple and they picked me up. They were like, oh, don't worry, we'll help you. And like,
you're like, I don't want help.
I said, I don't want help. My principal, literally, she was in tears. She was like, what Hare Krishna did to you? Like, did they feed you something? And like, you just changed. You were such a good like student, and like you have no interest in them. And I just said, I don't like it anymore. And I remember I failed as my result came, and I had a flight to Mayapur, and my teacher called because I failed in three subjects. My teacher called and he said, if you can give these exams and get the 10th grade certificate. And I said, no, I'm actually going to Mayapur. He cursed. Yeah. He was like, oh, he was just like,
right.
Like, you're mad. Like,
you know what? Truthfully, your life makes no material sense whatsoever. You shouldn't have all the good fortune you have. But you're incredibly learned, incredibly talented. You went to the Gurukul for how many years?
3 years.
3 years in the Gurukul. And the Gurukul, if you've ever gone there, it is like you're stepping back, like in a Shaolin monastery or something. It's so beautiful, surrounded by jungle, these ancient looking buildings, bamboo made of earth and dung, and reeds for the roofs, and cool sacred fire pits. And you learn how to cook. You learn, children learn mantras. Every Saturday night, they have a parade.
Yeah.
Take the deity out of the town. And there's thousands of people that live in this Mayapur community. Mayapur is the birthplace. They have a Saturday. What do you want to do on a Saturday night, you guys? What do people do? They cause all types of hell. That's what they do. You know what they do in Mayapur? They take the deity, the little deity, out of the temple, and they put it on the top of an elephant's head. I kid you not, a real elephant. Because the Gurukul, the children of the Gurukul take care of an elephant. And then you're friendly with the elephant, right? Yeah. You have a working relationship with the elephant.
My service was
for vegans out there. Did the elephant was your friend?
Yeah.
You had a sweet symbiotic relationship with the elephant.
And they actually have very good memory. So they can, even if you get old, they would remember you. Like,
really?
Yeah.
All right. So they have this parade. They take the deity and the elephant. All the children start chanting mantras and lead. Do they carry torches or something?
Yeah.
They carry torches. What child wouldn't want to walk around with an elephant and carry a torch And everyone else is just watching in awe, singing. There's like the bigger boys get to ride the elephant. Did you ever get to ride him?
No, I
Oh,
didn't.
sorry about that.
I didn't want it to.
Did that hurt you?
No.
Okay. That would hurt me. Please let me ride the elephant. Yeah. And that's it. And that's it. And there was something, I mean, there's something, I would love to see your astrological chart because there's something it's like you took sannyas at age 14, basically. You sort of cut your life in the material world and you've been living Mayapur ever since. How old are you now?
28 now.
28 now. And he has a luxury condominium. He lives above the cows. He lives basically in a barn. Want to talk about your service now and what you do?
So my basically service is to like collect funds for the Goshala, and I'll do photography and videos. And whenever there's a newborn, like every 20 days, we have a newborn. So I take little documents of that, and we have like a name, we give name and stuff. And
To the cows.
yeah.
Okay.
We have like 400
To their death. And they take care of them even after they stop milking or able to stop giving birth. What do you do with all the male cows?
We train them so like they use for the field. They grow their own food. Like
They plow. It's
they
a
plow,
quite fascinating relationship when you get rid of the tractor and you've got this cow that plows. Like it's like before the hydraulics, you had oxen or workhorses. They're plowing and they're fertilizing at the exact same time.
Yeah.
It's quite amazing. Yeah. And so you live with the cows, you live in Mayapur. Every time I come to India, he jumps on with me. We have so much fun. We laugh the whole time. You're my son's like best friend. And he was teaching my children Shilpa, which is incredible. You should just give us all a class here, how to do it. And I'm trying to figure out my best way how to get him to New York this summer to start for, by the way, everybody, we are having the Super Soul Ashram month in August. We're going to do it. We're going to do like a week of music, a week of yoga, a week of philosophy and sacred literature with me and Kastuba. We're really excited about that. We're going to give more info at that, but we like the idea of coming for a month. It's for all the people that wanted to come. What do you think of this? Because when we were younger, we'd go to an ashram and like, okay, we're going on this date. When do you get out? We're like, well, I don't know. We're sort of in forever, I guess, or whenever we like run away. But like a particular time in history where we go into that ashram. I'm going to go for a week. I'm going to go for 2 weeks. I'm going to go for 3 weeks. I'm going to go for a month. And you just live like you're in an ashram. And then you can just go back to your regular life. Because there's something crazy about living in an ashram, and we've all met crazy people and have maybe crazy experiences. And because you're living in an ashram, you meet all types of people. And there's something also incredibly wonderful about living in an ashram. Like you'll learn so much. Yeah. So we're trying to create this like ashram 2.0 that is a little bit best of both worlds. And we're bringing in a bunch of other, educators, and we're really excited about that. So we're going to keep you posted. And so how can they follow the cows on Instagram? What's that Instagram handle?
It's Sri Mayapur Goshala.
Sri Mayapur. Can you just spell that out?
How
do you spell Sri?
SRI, Goshala, GOSH, ALA, Goshala. That's it.
Sri Mayapur Goshala. Gotcha. Okay. And then Krish, Mantra Prema Photography. Any other good questions for Janeshwar live? What a story. What a story. Anyway, we're honored to have you. Tomorrow we start trekking. This guy's done pilgrimage all over. Yeah. We were staying at some really nice hotel in Delhi. This guy shows up barefoot, just gets out of the plane barefoot, walking around in his dhoti.
They didn't let me in.
They didn't let him in the airport. I had to come out and get it because he had no shoes on. But he's basically been walking around India barefoot since I met him, wearing his wooden shoes, and just holy places ever. Comes to Nepal on pilgrimage on a regular basis. We went to Muktinath last year, which was like an incredible travel. So we're excited to have you back, Prabhu. And we'll see you October 23rd for pilgrimage. If you come on pilgrimage with me, October 23rd, that's on my website. You will meet Janeshwar, and we'll have kirtan everywhere. Prabhu, thank you so much. Haribol, thanks for joining us.
Hare Krishna.
All right. If anybody's got a question for Janeshwar today, you can put it on the message board. I'm going to let Mara sneak back in here. Yeah, Janeshwar, what a story. He could have his own TV show, I think. Extremely talented. Lori Pag says extremely talented. And Bana Nandini says she loves you too. All right. I just want to make one announcement. That's the Italy trip. We got to announce it. We're going to Tuscany. If you ever wanted to go to Tuscany, why not go with a bunch of devotees of Lord Krishna? You know, we go there. We have all the fun that you have in Tuscany. You go to beautiful places, right? Vicky, the transcendentalist, went last year. Narayani is here. She went last year. Mara didn't go. She's going to go this year. But me, Kastuba, Mara, and the crew are going to come. Please join us. Go to wisdomofthesages.com/events. And if you ever want to live in an ashram, we pack you in an ashram there too. It's ashram life with a beautiful backdrop. We go to beautiful places. We take day trips and we just do what we do here, chant, read the Bhagavatam, do Sweet Baby Krishna, and you get to be live on the podcast. All right. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim sarasvatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome in the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Milatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are kindly opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. I just want to say thank you, Zoomers. Everybody, every day, a gang of people join. Today we have 76. We've been jumping around the times. Usually we get about 100. But you can join us on Zoom too. You got to email Mara at wisdomofthesages108@gmail.com, and she'll give you the secret codes to get in. Today we had everybody turn off their video. So usually we look at them, we spy, we wave to each other, we write each other secret messages. We can still write the messages. We can't really see each other because our in Nepal, our bandwidth has been really weak. So we asked everybody to turn off their cameras. So forgive us, Zoomers. Okay, so let's dive into this. This is reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 8, Text 81. Wow, we're almost done with this. Let's go read Text 80 again. Reading the story of Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj started doing all these penances. That's where we last left off. He was standing on one leg. He was doing pranayam. He was doing fasting. And all of a sudden, he started developing sort of mystic powers. He became sort of like one with the cosmos. And I can't remember how Prabhupada uses an example. It was something like, normally, how fast can we walk? 5 miles per hour at the most. But if you're on an airplane, you're going the speed of the airplane. So there's this practice in yoga where you're actually merging with how would you explain that? I can't remember. Yeah. The unit becomes the whole. And then he just developed incredible power, incredible strength. And it's sort of, because of his spiritual advancement, he became almost the total heaviness. And thus he pressed down the toe on the whole earth. Moreover, by such spiritual power, his unit body became the total body of the universe. Thus, when he closed the holes of his body, his unit body, to firmly concentrate his mind on the personality of Godhead, all the units of the universe, namely all living entities, including the big demigods, felt pressure of suffocation, as if their breathing were being choked. The analogy used is when hundreds of persons are sitting in an airplane, although they remain individual units, they each share in the total force of the airplane, which runs at thousands of miles per hour. Similarly, when a unit of energy is identified with the service of the total energy, that unit energy becomes as powerful as that total energy. Okay, I get that. Okay, Mara, next verse. Okay, so this is 81. The demigod said, "Dear Lord, you are the refuge of all moving and non-moving living entities. We feel all living entities to be suffocating, their breathing process choked up. We have never experienced such a thing. Since you are the ultimate shelter of all surrendered souls, we have therefore approached you. Kindly save us from this danger." So this is the demigods now appealing to Lord Vishnu. Okay, we're going to pass on the purport. Look at the last verse of the chapter. Come on. There we go. The personality of Godhead Vishnu said, "My dear demigods, do not be perturbed by this. It is due to the severe austerity and full determination of the son of the king of Uttanapad, who is now fully absorbed in thought of me. He has obstructed the universal breathing process. You can safely return to your respective homes. I shall stop this boy in the severe acts of austerities, and you'll be saved from this situation." Yeah, that's the end of the chapter. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 4th canto, 8th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Dhruva Maharaj Leaves Home for the Forest. We're going to start our next chapter, chapter 9, text 1. So Maitreya, Dhruva Maharaj returns home. I did say that, didn't I, Mara?
I thought that you were reading the title of the last chapter.
I actually read, Mara, I'm going to tell you this once and for all.
You can correct me, but you have to be right.
Yeah, you can correct me, but you have to be right. We had a good day today, didn't we? Just singing on the bus, beautiful backdrop, singing in our morning sing. It's just so sweet when you got a good, focused group of people. I really think last night in our kirtan, I think certain people in the group just lost their minds. I think poor Rich Mancuso, his material mind is officially blown. We have this feeling. We have this saying now. We're here for 2 weeks. Give 100% to your bhakti. After 2 weeks, you can reevaluate and say, "Yeah, I'm not into it," or "I'm sort of into it," or "I'll take this from it." But for 2 weeks, we're all committing to give 100%. Right, everybody? Yeah, all right. That's good. Now, you guys can join us with that vow, that vrata, everybody listening on Zoom, for 2 weeks until we get back. Give 100% of your consciousness to Krishna consciousness. And this is training. They call this a Raghunath rewind. What? Okay.
Last second squirrel as well.
Oh, last second squirrel. That's what LSS means, last second squirrel. Okay, I get you. Text 1. The great sage Maitreya told Vidura, when the demigods were thus reassured by the personality of Godhead. Oh, you know what was cool about yesterday? It's kirtan.
Voice girls.
Well, no, because we were doing our thing. We're having our kirtan, and just one guy came out of his room and just sat there and started dancing, almost like, not in a cool way, not like he could dance, and he wasn't dancing like I'm a goofball. He was dancing like in a joyous way. He just couldn't dance, but it was joyous. I'm convinced that dancing is exponentially healthier than going to a gym. What do you think about that? Put on the message board what you think about that. What's your mind like at a gym? Oh, getting bigger, getting stronger, getting tougher, looking ripped. It's all like this me. Dancing is like freeing. It can be, at least when you're dancing for Krishna. It's freeing. It's sweet. It's wonderful. Throw this in there, please. Oh, I'll take one of those. That was for you. Sorry. I took Maris water. And then this other guy came. He came out of nowhere. He came with folded hands. And he just was listening the entire time. And you could see when the kirtan happens, you could see a split in the culture. Because there was a bunch of Nepalese guys just down there drinking beer, eating chicken, partying till 4:30 in the morning because we were up early chanting japa and they were still partying. And then there you have these people, you're doing kirtan, like Arjuna here, who's deeply touched, our guide on this trip. We're doing kirtan and they're touched, moved, and inspired. And that is the beauty about traveling through India and sort of like resurrecting these traditional gifts that India gave the world, which was entrance into these sort of secrets of spiritual life. These are secrets of spiritual life. I feel like I have a treasure trove of secret goodies that we've unlocked. The gurus have unlocked these information how to deal with life, death, gain, loss, love, heartbreak, fame, distress. We have tools. We have a great toolbox, a great community, and a great culture to fall back on, to cushion us. And not only that, you become empowered by practicing it. So people, as you become steady in your life, people start to look up to you. They start to appreciate you, and they start to inquire from you. And it's not like you're just sort of like, because you're a little bit insightful. There's just, no, you're saying, I'm getting my insight from transcendental teachings. We're not like claiming, because we are enlightened, we are very wise, and I'm the yoga teacher. I've been practicing asana for 15 years. Who cares? I'm not so great. I'm just holding on to the feet of my teachers. And what are they doing? Are they sitting there like, yeah, because we're so learned? No, they're feeling, I don't know much. I'm holding on to the feet of my teachers. And that's how we get this stuff. We grab onto the feet of our teachers. We put ourselves as humble servants, and this stuff trickles down in disciplic succession for millennia. It's not ours. It's trickling down from Lord Krishna himself. And we are just the mailman delivering the message, right? Imagine the mailman's delivering a package of gold. He can't say that gold is his. Once you claim that knowledge is yours, you're a thief. He's just delivering it. We are just delivering messages. My win, the home run for me as a yoga teacher, is to get my big, fat ego out of the way so I can just let the knowledge descend. And it's going to come out different. The way I do it, the way Mara does it, the way Janeshwar does it. We don't lose our individuality in that process. It will come out through the Raghunath machine, through the Janeshwar machine, through the Mara and Kostuba machine, etc. Thank you, Eva. The Polish princess is here. I'm dehydrating.
You're dehydrating?
I'm dehydrating. I am.
You should be hydrating if you're dehydrated.
That's what I meant.
All right.
The great sage Maitreya, Maitreya is the narrator here. Are we on Zoom? Okay, there they are. When the demigods were thus reassured by the personality of Godhead, they were freed from all fears. And after offering obeisances, they returned to their heavenly planets. Then the Lord, who is non-different from the Sahasra Shirsha incarnation, got on the Sahasra Shirsha. That's the 1,000. What's the Sahasra Shirsha incarnation? 1,000 head incarnation. I don't know what that means. Got on the back of Garuda. So Lord Vishnu got on the back of Garuda, who carried him to the Madhuvan forest to see his servant Dhruva. So you're in the Madhuvan forest, and all of a sudden you see a massive bird in the sky and a 4-armed man flying, right? And that's what's happening. Lord Vishnu is coming on the back of Garuda, who carried him to the Madhuvan. Okay. The form of the Lord, which was brilliant like lightning, and in which Dhruva Maharaj, in his mature yogic process, was fully absorbed in meditation, all of a sudden disappeared. Thus Dhruva was perturbed, and his meditation broke. But as soon as he opened his eyes, he saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead personally present, just as he had been seeing the Lord in his heart. So he was meditating the Lord in his heart, right? And then all of a sudden he opens his, and it sort of like went away from his vision in his mind. And now there's the Lord. He's seen the Lord face to face. By the way, this can happen to you. You can see Lord Vishnu, not just in a rainbow, not just in a sunset, not just in the ocean waves. You can see Lord Vishnu face to face. We just have to change our lenses. I have material lenses, not these lenses, but the way I'm seeing the world is, how can I enjoy this world? And because that's my meditation most of the time, it sets up a filter where I can't see God. And where is God? Right in front of my face. We have this realization. Remember last year, Janeshwar, we were in the Himalayas, and for 3 days we could not see the mountains, and we were in the, like I said, walls, cliffs, beautiful rivers and waterfalls, but you couldn't really see. Everything was a little overcast. Then one day we woke up and we saw the Annapurna range, and we were like, "Oh my God, This is incredible. And all you could do was gaze at them. And that's exactly, we thought at the time, this is how it must be exactly when you develop the eyes that are smeared with the salve of love. That's the expression they use. Isn't that a good analogy? Sometimes in the old days, they put some medical ointment, like an herb, in a salve, and you would smear it on your eyes to help you see. The salve needs to be smeared with the salve of love. Your eyes need to be smeared with the salve of love. And when we have love, then we see, like, these mountains were right in front of us. Krishna is right in front of my face. I just couldn't see him. It's because I don't want to see him. And the material world is designed to break attachment to it. And if you don't believe me, try to be attached to something, anything, anyone. Material world slowly. It's almost like when we were in Radhakund the other day, and they're pouring water in our hands. It was so funny. Remember that, Rich? We said, put out our hands, and Mohan Pandit came and he poured, water in our hands. We're supposed to offer the water in circles and throw it in Radhakund. But for some reason, every time we poured it in my hands, it would just go right through my hands. And I'm looking at Mara's hand and Rich's hands. Those guys had like, what you got was like rubber hands. They kept retained all like Tupperware hands. They retained all the water in their hands. And I couldn't figure out how it's happening. So this is what the world does. I try to grip onto people and places and things, and it goes through our hands like sand through an hourglass. We can't grip it. It's like trying to grip a waterfall. The world goes through our hands, and we think it's solid. I think my home is solid. I think my family is solid. I think my youth is solid. Do you remember your youth? Do you remember it? It was a moment ago. Sometimes we have a child. How old are your children, Jen Hunt? 19 and 21. You were 19 and 21 a moment ago. Remember? It was a moment ago. It feels like a second ago. Now, when you're 19 and 21, you're like, oh, come on. It was. I remember when my father was 50, and I thought, that poor old man. Now I'm 56. And I'm like, well, that's not really old. That's not old, like 60s old. I always push back the old line another decade when I get to that line. It's the most fantastic thing in the world. And that's what who was it? The Apsara said to Maharaj Yudhisthira? No, it was who asked? Come on, Janeshwar Pandit. Who asked the questions? At the lake. Wonderful thing. Awesome thing. The Yaksha. Yeah. Yaksha Pragya. Who are you, Janeshwar? You know all these things. He got nervous. He's dropping the ball. The Yaksha said, I'm going to kill you unless you can answer these riddles. It's part of the Mahabharata. And if you ever read this part of the Mahabharata, how do you say question in Sanskrit? Pragya? Prashna. Yaksha Prashna. So it's all the questions it's sort of like riddles. They do this in Western culture, like riddles. And so he asked all these riddles to Yudhisthira, and Yudhisthira gave these great answers. And it's like a whole book of riddles. And the last one is, what's the most fantastic thing in this world? What's the most unbelievable thing in this world? And Yudhisthira, right on true Yudhisthira forms, without blinking, said, the most fantastic thing is we've had parents that perhaps have died. We've had friends that have died. We've had grandparents that have died. You open the newspaper every day, hear on the radio every day. Yudhisthira didn't say that, but you hear on the newspaper, people are dying every day. Yet we still think it will never happen to me. That's the most fantastic thing. That's the most unbelievable thing. And how did I get on that topic?
Youth was only a second ago.
Youth was only a second ago. How did I get on that topic? I don't know. Anyway. Are you guys even listening? I got this live group here. They're just like in samadhi. Dehydrated. They're all dehydrated.
I'm still thinking how the water stayed in there.
She's still thinking how the water went through my hands. I was looking at everyone was holding that water, not spilling a bunch. Okay. Text 3. When Dhruva Maharaj saw his Lord just in front of him, he was greatly agitated and offered him obeisances and respect. He fell flat before him like a rod and became absorbed in love of Godhead. Dhruva Maharaj, in ecstasy, looked upon the Lord as if he were drinking the Lord with his eyes. Imagine that. I'm trying to drink the Lord with my eyes right now, like kissing the lotus feet of the Lord with his mouth. Oh, and embracing the Lord with his arms. Was he like moving? You know, it was great. We pulled over for gas today, and the guy at the gas station, he goes, he came up to me, he goes, Krishna, Krishna. I was like, what? He goes, Krishna. And I was like, Hare Krishna. And then he goes, no, and he pointed to his gas station sign. It was like a regular gas station sign, but he had a massive picture of Radha and Krishna on the sign. He goes, Krishna Bhakta, like that. I was like, me too. And we sort of bonded. We had a moment, and then we just sort of like touched each other's hands. It was a very like intimate moment. It was sweet. There's some very sweet people I'm running into. Yeah. And then we had a big kirtan on the bus for him, which was very nice too. Okay. Text 4. Dhruva Maharaj was a small boy. He wanted to offer prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in suitable language. But because he was inexperienced, he cannot adjust himself immediately. Imagine if the Supreme Lord just showed up and you're like, what do I say? What would you say? I love you. Like that's all I could think of. Like, I love you. I love you. I love you. Unless you had to, that's why you got to learn these mantras, these prayers or these stutis, so you have something to say. I love you. Okay, so what do you do? I love you. I love you. Krishna. We need Kastuba back. The Supreme Personality of Godhead being situated in everyone's, what? Where are we? The Supreme Personality of Godhead being situated in everyone's heart could understand Dhruva Maharaj's awkward position. Out of his causeless mercy, he touched his conch shell. Oh my God. To the forehead of Dhruva, who stood there before him with folded hands. So imagine you're standing there. You don't know what to say to the personality of Godhead. And he takes his conch shell. He's got 4 arms, right? Conch shell, lotus, disc, mace. Puts the conch shell right in your head. At that time, Dhruva Maharaj became perfectly aware of the Vedic conclusion, right? Right?
Yeah.
He's expecting, right? He's worshiping the Lord to get some revenge against his stepmother, right? His father. And now he understands the Vedic conclusion, the Bhakti Siddhanta, right? The perfection, the siddha, the conclusion of all siddhas is Bhakti. He's realizing this right now. You need that conch shell to touch your head, bung, and all of a sudden it's like he gets it. He gets the meaning of life. Where are we? Thank you. It's so good having Mary here, just pointing right there, dummy, right there. She'll never say that though. At that time, Dhruva Maharaj became perfectly aware of all Vedic conclusions and understood the absolute truth and his relationship with all living entities. In accordance with the line of devotional service to the Supreme Lord, whose fame is widespread, Dhruva, who in the future would receive his own planet, which would never be annihilated, even during the time of dissolution, offered his deliberate and conclusive prayers. So Dhruva's about to say some prayers. Dhruva got rewarded a planet. Imagine getting that as like a bonus.
An eternal planet?
An eternal planet. So that's hey, come back here, Janeshwar. Text messaging his teacher, I hope, thanking him.
Telling everyone to listen.
Telling everyone to listen. Yes. I got a question for you. So Dhruva's planet is the North Star, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's an eternal planet. It doesn't get destroyed. You know, when Lord Shiva does that dance, everyone see that picture of Lord Shiva doing the dance? That's when Shiva's dance. Even destruction is a dance. Even destruction is ecstatic. And so Shiva's dancing, destroying the universe, but something doesn't get destroyed. Dhruva's planet, the pole star. That means that it didn't always exist if it got given to him, right? That's an interesting question. The North Star was at a point created? I guess so. And what do I know? What do we just, I'm a speculator. Okay, here's Dhruva. I want to hear what Dhruva said. Once that conch shell hit him, you want to know what he said?
Yeah.
Okay, this just came flowing out of his mouth. My dear Lord, you are all powerful. After entering within me, you have enlivened all my sleeping senses, my hands, my legs, my ears, my touch sensation, the life force, and especially my power of speech. Let me offer my obeisances to you. My Lord, you are the supreme, but by your different energies, you appear differently in the spiritual and material worlds. You create the total energy of the material world by your external potency. And after creation, you enter within the material world as the super soul, right? There's part of God, a part of Vishnu within every being, God in the heart. Sometimes we say God's in the heart. Ever hear people say that? Especially in the yoga community. God, you don't need God. God is within. It's all within. You are the guru. Ever hear people say that? It's sort of silly. If you are the guru, then why read a book? If it's all within, why go to school? You didn't, right? If it's,
I went to private school. Janeshwar is so much more talented than me in every way.
He is much.
It's true.
He is very talented.
So much for my private school. Sorry, Dad. My dad's on today too. Sorry, Papa Tony.
Yeah. If guru is it, if you don't need a guru without, why read any book from anybody if it's already within? But we say guru is within as the Paramatma, right? As a super soul, but he is also without. Of course he's without. You got to be careful, because if you're only checking with what's in, you might not just check in with the guru within. You might check out with your anxiety within, with your lust within, with your greed within. Be careful when you say, well, I'm going to go with the guru within. People are just, you know what I think? People are just look, there's been so many bogus gurus out there. There have been so many counterfeit, right? You know, when they make $100 bills, there's so many counterfeit $100 bills. Mara screwing with the cord. Okay. There's so many counterfeit $100 bills. I just don't believe. And someone offers me a real one, I'll be like, no. I don't do 100s. Well, guess what? Just because there's been counterfeit doesn't mean there's not an authentic. Just because other gurus have fallen down doesn't mean there's not gurus that are not fallen, right? We just have to find people who are delivering a pure message. And guess what? We may not be pure, but in our attempt, we can still learn from so many people. That's why I picked this guy as my roommate. He drops wisdom on me on the regular basis, Janeshwar Prabhu, right? We want to associate with people who are practicing spiritual life, and we inquire from them and hear from them, and it's important. And whether they're liberated souls or not, here's the deal. I can tell you, like in martial arts, when I was a white belt in jiu-jitsu, I could learn from another white belt who was practicing 5 months before me because he had something to teach me, you know? And of course, if you get a good master teacher, that's always the best. But there's a lot of people we can learn from at the same time. And if they're themselves are trying to follow strictly, then Krishna will work. God will work through those people for your benefit. We've seen it happen in our lives, I think, right? I'm still in the middle of a text, Mara. It's not a squirrel, Mara, when it's got something to do.
I just lost where we are. That's all.
You know what it's me and my squirrel? You don't walk dogs, but if you've had a dog, sometimes the dog will run away and chase a squirrel and it's not stick on the path. So we call that a squirrel. Text 7, my Lord, you are the supreme one. But by your different energies, you appear differently in the spiritual material worlds. You create the total energy of the material world by your external potency. And after you enter within the material world as the super soul. And after you enter the world as a super soul, you are the supreme person. And through the temporary modes of material nature, you create varieties of manifestation, just as fire entering into wood or different shapes, or wood of different shapes, burns brilliantly in different varieties. Oh, my master, Lord Brahma is fully surrendered unto you. In the beginning, you gave him knowledge, and thus he could see and understand the entire universe, just as a person awakens from sleep and visualizes his immediate duties. You are the only shelter of all persons who desire. Isn't that nice? How, therefore, can a learned person who has perfect knowledge ever forget you? It seems like he just got like sort of gonged into enlightenment. He's just a little kid. Persons who worship you simply for the sense gratification of this bag of skin. Isn't that a nice way to put your body? What is your body? It's a bag of skin. What happens if you puncture the bag? There's a bunch of guts come out, a bunch of growth, right? It's gross, actually. We're just like a body glove, like that surf company body glove. We're a body glove, right? And we spend our whole life chasing around other body gloves. But if you were to just like take a razor blade, and that's going to be a little gross, and just cut around the face and peel back that body glove just the quarter of a centimeter, how ghastly would we be? We run our right the whole life. Freud says this. We're running our whole life around for sex desire, and we're attracted to different people. But what are we attracted to? A thin body glove of a being. We don't even see 99.9% of the being. We're falling in love with a glove, a bag of skin, a gut bag, a gut bag. What do we call that? A meat puppet. That was a band, by the way. That was a band. Persons who worship you simply for sense gratification of this bag of skin are certainly influenced by your illusory energy. Right? We're combing our bag of skin, moisturizing the bag of skin, tanning the bag of skin, working on abs under my bag of skin so it makes my bag of skin much more attractive to other bags of skin. Okay. In spite of having you, who are like a desired tree and the cause of liberation from birth and death, foolish persons, such as me, desire benedictions from you for sense gratification, which is available even for those who live in hellish conditions. Right? He's making this point of, I wasn't coming to you for bhakti. I was coming to you with an agenda. We are approaching God with an agenda. All right. Oh, it's over? Is it over? Oh, it's over. That one's so quick. Oh, that's what we were. Okay. Thank you, everybody. It's time for our takeaways. This is when Mara compiles various things we've said during the show that you can sort of take away and bring with you and, keep with you for the course of the day. Okay. No, don't knock that mic out.
Cord is so sensitive.
Okay. I want to hear, if you like this one, you guys just wave your hands and live, wave your hands like this. If you like
give me some love, live.
Give him some love.
Good enough.
Give her a Harry bowl.
All right. Gurus have unlocked a treasure trove of spiritual goodies.
Haribo. You can say Haribo.
We have a great toolbox, community, and culture.
Haribo.
We become empowered by practicing bhakti.
Haribo.
Grab onto the feet of your teachers and humbly serve to receive the trickle of wisdom. And smear your eyes with the salve of love.
Smear your eyes.
We waste our life chasing other skin bags.
Hey, come here, you little skin bag. You sexy skin bag.
Don't fall in love with the glove.
Don't fall in love with the glove.
Fill up at the Transcendental gas station.
Okay. All right. We're all like digesting that one. But yes. Was that Matt Godin?
Yeah. I like to always include one from him. They're hilarious.
Hey, we're Bag of Skin from Olympia, Washington. Thanks everybody for joining us. We're sorry because Stupa couldn't be here. You got the booby prize today. But we want to thank all our special guests. Well, that's our special guest, Janeshwar Prabhu. You can follow him at Mantra Prema that on Instagram. Check him out.
Photography.
Mantra Prema Photography. And yeah, what a great day. Go to Apple Podcasts right now and give us a 5-star review right now, please. And tell us your story. Tell us how you got here. Everybody's got a great story. I didn't even know Janeshwar's story until lunchtime. I picked his brain and I was like, what? We got to get you on a walk on Wednesday. What a beautiful story. I'm happy we're traveling together. And October 23rd, I'm going to India with a group of yogis. If you're interested, it's already half sold out. So go to my website, raghunath.yoga, and you can sign up there. And that's it. Let's get the dance camp going. This is how we end the show.